All right, it looks like we're live. It's been a little bit since my last live stream, so I am back. And I figured that I would talk about a few things because it's already late June, going into July. And in the near future, Bell County Comic Con is coming up. I got some Soulfinder updates for anyone that is interested in that sort of thing. Thought I'd catch up with anybody. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns for the cause, we could address those. Maybe could talk a little bit of politics. I don't know. I haven't really talked about any of this war stuff going on. For the most part, I don't know. So this is just kind of free flowing, and I wanted to essentially use this time to show off Matt Weldon's insane artwork, insanely good artwork, and just kind of go from there. So let's see. First of all, let's see. For those that don't know, Common America Alpha and the Common America Omnibus, the digital PDFs are going out. Tim and Mark put this out in, I'm assuming emails, but I always see their feeds as well. But digital PDFs are going out between June 26th and June 27th. So you're going to make sure that you check your emails for that sort of stuff. And all right, so good to go there. And yeah, so again, congratulations to Tim and Mark on a successful campaign. And it looks like you'll be fulfilling in the very near future. So very cool. AL, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Nice to see you. So like I was saying, just going to go over some Matt Weldon art, going to go over some new merchandise, Soulfinder merchandise that's going to be available on the Iconic Comics website in the near future and at Bell County Comic Con, and talk about whatever you and anybody else wants to talk about for a little bit and just catch up. And then I got to go grab myself some dinner because my wife is busy tonight. So I'm going to we call it Doug It. I'm going to Doug It tonight and just get my own thing. And then I'll come back. Then I'll probably exercise. So, yeah. So long story short. All right. So Matt Weldon, I had a really awesome conversation with Matt yesterday. And I bought my tickets to Bell County Comic Con, or, my flight tickets down to Austin. So I am landing early and then I'm leaving late. So the plan right now is to land early enough to catch up with Eric Canetti in Austin. For the past couple of years, we've met up and had a nice little dinner and just caught up on life, the universe and everything, and Arc Athena and Soulfinder and Iconic Comics. Because once you get to the shows, you're busy basically the entire time. So Bell County Comic Con is like crazy busy. It's always been that way. It keeps growing. And once I get to the table and once the doors open and the VIP guest passes come in and everything, you're basically go all day. You're just talking and ringing up people and bagging stuff and signing things. And you're just constantly on the go. So I don't really have time during the day to chat up Eric or Tim or any of the other guys. So yeah, let's see. Would you ever consider going to Anime Matsuri in Houston, Texas? That's the only con I go to in Texas. I'm open to going to pretty much any convention. I don't really like to go by myself. I like to be paired with somebody else from Iconic Comics, whether it's a writer or an artist. But the thing with Soulfinder is that it's not really manga style. It's not, Matt, there are influences that you do see in his work from anime and manga at times. But for the most part, Soulfinder doesn't, in my mind, really fit under that aesthetic. So I don't know if that would be the right show for me. I'm not opposed to it. And the thing with going down to Houston is that's actually where Rugged Rosaries is located. So I have wanted to go down there, and I did want to go see where all the rosaries are made. So that's like an excuse to do that. And just obviously getting down to Texas is always cool in general. So again, I'm open to it, but I really like to consult with the other guys at Iconic Comics and see what's going on with them and their schedules and all sorts of stuff. There was a guy the other day that was asking me if I was going to come down to Florida this year. And again, it's one of those things where depending on what everybody else's schedule is, we usually plan that stuff pretty far in advance. Obviously, if Iconic is asked and it financially makes sense, because I got to fly from either Montana or Reno to wherever I'm going. It's very rare that I would be able to drive there based on my location. Even when I went to Rose City Comic Con with Eric Canetti and the Kindred Heavens guys, like I wasn't going to drive from Reno to Portland. So I flew then. So you're immediately, you got the plane ticket going on, then you got to lug everything, or you got to mail it ahead of time. Then you might have to get the rental car SUV type thing to hold everything. Then you got to get the hotel. So then it's a matter of like, okay, well, is the convention paid? Like, are you getting any sort of per diem? Are they hooking you up with a hotel or something? Because otherwise you're immediately starting in the hole, like $1,000 plus for hotels and planes and cars and all of this sort of stuff, which on some level I don't mind, because it, in my mind, well, one, I know I'm going to work my butt off at a show to sell as many books as I can. But I do think even if you don't make enough books to like recoup the cost of everything, then there actually is a value in all of the readers that you do meet at the show that it's hard to quantify, because those are the sorts of relationships that you could engender with people that, those are people that are going to buy your books, buy your merchandise, help promote your books and everything on X and YouTube, and show up to your live streams like this one, like you are right now. So, it's not always about having to make X amount of dollars, but like you said, I get it expensive. Yeah. So, but Texas is also a great place to go to, because there's so many other excuses to go down there. Like I said, Rugged Rosaries, Iconic Comics. I could go down there, go to the storage facility, pseudo warehouse, whatever you want to call it, meet up with those guys, go out to lunch with them, catch up with them. Yeah. Anyway, that was a long-winded answer to say maybe. Yeah, my thing is, like I said, I like to travel, even though I tend to feel like I've been run over by a truck after I'm done with everything. But I like to be paired with somebody, preferably an artist, if possible. The artist. So the artist, like, let's just be real here. They tend to draw people in with their art, and then for the writer, it's, you have to be able to just, talk off the cuff. You got to be gregarious. You got to be natural. You can't seem like you're desperate. Like, please buy my book, sir. You can't come across as like bizarre and just like creepy. But for me, I have found that if I have an artist with me, and people kind of come and they start looking at, obviously I got the Soulfinder art too from all the guys, but if you get people to just slow down just enough to where you have the proper appropriate in to be like, hey, how's it going? And start talking to people, then I'm good to go. I really just need that initial sort of eye contact that says, okay, you have permission to talk to me, or I'm open to talking to you, because some people kind of like zoom by. They don't want anything to do with you. They're looking away. They're like, please let this guy not talk to me. I know exactly where I'm going. I do not want to talk to this guy. So, but at least with the artists, they kind of draw them in. There's a little magnet action going in, and it's easier for me once they sort of break the ice, or like I said, allow me to get that proper eye contact with someone to introduce myself. It's good to go from there. John Johnson, yay, new live stream. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. So yeah. All right. So I have not shared. I shared pencils from Matt a while ago. I didn't share any inks, and the inks are coming in. And as usual, Matt Weldon does a really great job. He keeps leveling up over and over and over again. So this is Soulfinder 78. And so this is the first time you've seen him in inks. I initially shared this with patrons. They got the first look. And then there was a couple of readers I shared this with. And now I'm sharing it with you. So, yeah, this is the prequel essentially to Black Tide, the original sort of like hunt or investigation into William Nebel when he was getting into the occult. Why did he get into the occult? What was his rationale for that? He had perfectly good intentions, but what happens when your spiritual sextant is broken and you're leading men? Where do you lead them? What sort of dangerous waters do you lead them into? And so for years now, people have asked me, they're like, well, you have Soulfinder 77, that's Crane. You got Soulfinder 79, that's Father Redder. Who is Soulfinder 78? And I was like, I did that on purpose because a lot of this was basically the overarching idea for like the first major arc and all the minor arcs that were planned out loosely well in advance. So I had an idea of like where I was going, and I wanted to plant things, and it wasn't like the mystery boxes, the J.J. Abrams mystery boxes, where he just like comes up with like weird junk that he's never going to answer, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Like, where's he going with this? He doesn't even know. So I basically knew, I had a very good idea where I wanted to go, what was happening with everybody and all of this, even if all the like, it wasn't high resolution sort of thing, but I had enough of it to be like, okay, I want to do something with this. I want to do something with that. And so this is the tale of Soulfinder 78. And what happened to him, and why is he not in Demon's Match and Black Tide and Infinite Ascent and that sort of thing. And then also it's Father Crane's kind of one of his first quote unquote missions as a soul finder in the 1980s during the Cold War. So both of these characters, Father Crane and Soulfinder 78, they have one overall mission related to William Nebel, but they're on separate paths. So one has to go into the nuclear sub, and then Father Crane is sent, I'm not really spoiling too much, on an investigation, and he's got to interview somebody that was on the sub, and there's all sorts of mysterious supernatural things that were occurring, and the Pentagon and the U.S. military is trying to figure out what's going on this sub, because we can't really get an answer out of everybody. And it's called Silent Service. So the submariners are all part of the Silent Service. So people are not inclined to talk about what they saw, what they did on these missions. A lot of things are hush-hush, top national security, top secret sort of things with the Soviets going on underneath the undersea cables and all of this sort of stuff. And so again, Crane is sent on his investigation, Soulfinder 78 is sent on his, and eventually it will all come together at the end in one self-contained tale that also is part of a larger whole that you will then see in Black Tide, and ultimately Soulfinder Volume 6, which I am writing right now. I think I got like 34 pages done. Like the whole story is in my head. I've just been like writing it out. So I know exactly what's going to happen for the most part. There's like little details here and there that I'm tweaking as I go along. But it all will culminate in Soulfinder Volume 6, which I also talked to Matt Weldon about yesterday. And he seemed like he was pretty psyched about that, especially like the Seraphim. So let's see, Whisper, thanks for tuning in. So yeah, speaking of Soulfinder Volume 6, so angels are the messengers. They come, ahead of what, they let everybody know this is coming in the future. They're the forerunners of what's coming oftentimes in the Bible. So let's find where the Seraphim were. I got new merch coming out coming out. I shared it on the community tab. I shared it with patrons. Here's another page Matt shared from Soulfinder Volume 5. So this is early on. And again, lots of water going on in there. And I don't want to give away exactly who this character is, but one thing that I really like with Matt is he's like a master of facial expressions. He has a large repertoire of emotions that he's able to show. And so when I'm writing things, I'm very confident that Matt could do justice to the scenes that I'm trying to write. So Matt, if you're listening right now, thank you. Over and over again, he gets it. He gets the urgency and the desperation in this particular character's voice. He's telling Soulfinder 78 something in particular. It's a very dangerous situation that they got to get out of, and we'll just leave it at that. But I will continue to share more inks without spoiling too much in the months to come. We're going to start color work in the very near future. But Rodrigo's got other stuff going on. He's a very busy guy, both in his personal life and is doing a lot of color work and creative things as well. So my main thing for Matt and Rodrigo and everybody who works on these books is I just want it done right. We don't need to rush it out. We don't need to just, put the rocket skates on, the Iron Man rocket skates or anything like that. We just need to see steady, consistent progress towards the ultimate goal. And as long as I know that everybody's given 110%, that's all I really care about, because at the end, it'll all take care of itself. And I found that God's timing is better than my timing on pretty much everything. When I was a young man, I didn't really get that. I wanted things when I wanted them. I want them right now. And still I fall into that trap or whatever. But over the years with all the Soulfinder books, there's been times where I've been, when I tried to redline things and hurry things too much, that's when things fell through the cracks that, some people, well, most people will never know about, but I know about them and I kick myself for it. I'm like, I should have just taken my foot off the accelerator for a little bit. I should have, who cares if it comes out 3 months later or 4 months later? Like, ultimately, what's the big deal? But early on, after Demon's Match, it was one of those things where I was like, I don't want to say obsessed, but I really, really, really wanted to get that next book out within a year. So the first book came out, like, I started shipping on Halloween of like 2018, or was it? No, I'm sorry, 2019. And then I wanted to have Black Tide out essentially by Halloween of the next year. And I was pushing the gas as hard as I could, but then I was also doing hardcovers for the first time, and I was learning a lot with that. And how do I say it? Yeah, I think I was just juggling, too many chainsaws at the same time. And a few things fell through the cracks where I'm just like, nuts. Like, I wish I could have done that differently. So with every single book, I'm learning. Tagia, thanks for tuning in. Solid Halon, thanks for tuning in. Mr. X, thanks for tuning in. RPX, thanks for tuning in. Mr. Mold, thanks for tuning in. Just don't get too casual about timing, Doug. Laxing is a slippery slope, and you don't want to end up like who. Yeah, so that's the thing is that's why it's important to work with guys like Matt Weldon and Rodrigo, because I know that they're not like, how do I say it? Matt is very diligent, and when he is well, one, he's a busy guy too. He's got his own family to take care of and all that sort of stuff. So, but let me pull back to Matt's, this is the kind of inking where I cannot complain about the inking. So I know for sure that Matt is a man of character and of virtue. And if he says he's doing X, Y, and Z, he's doing X, Y, and Z. His yes is yes, and his no is no. His up is up, and his down is down, or whatever you want to call it. So he's always on the ball. Rodrigo's the same way. But yeah, it's all about finding that proper balance, where I want Matt to look at his work years from now and be like, all right, Doug did not, rush me. I am very happy with this, and it holds up over the long haul or whatever. So yeah, it's all a balancing act. That's for sure. And I've learned over the years that's the other thing is like you're managing creative teams, and everybody's got their own stuff going on in their personal life, and health issues and financial stuff going on. And that's actually why communication is really important too, because if you're not communicating and being transparent with your team about what's going on in your life, or trying to glean information about like what they need, you can be annoying somebody and not even realize it. So my goal is always to make sure that these guys who are very talented, as you can see, feel as though and know that I respect their talent, I respect their time. But ultimately, we do, if you want to keep the momentum going and all of that, everyone's got to realize that we got to be on a somewhat reliable schedule. And so I've found that, putting out a book every year and a half or something along those lines, and these aren't like, 24 pages or whatever it is, like this is over a 70-page book right here. The previous book was the same way. And then with like all the bonus stuff, it's like 80 plus pages or whatever. So we are taking a little bit of time, but there's a lot of meat on the bone, creative meat on the bone to these books and the hardcovers and all of that. So, yeah. All right, Dan, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Hope to see you sooner rather than later. Be cool to catch up. Ethereal Dragon, driving, so I can't be very active. Well, thank you for listening to me. I will try not to startle you with any strange noises during the stream. We want you to arrive safely at your destination. Let's see, Mr. Mole. Doug, you're the only one who remembers who I am on Twitter, despite the different name over here. I'm impressed. All right. Let's see. Hey, Doug, just popping in to say hi. So, yeah. All right. So, boom. Again, I will share more inks in the near future. Next up, also Amazing Grace Productions. Also, to everyone tuning in, thank you for continuing to buy the books, to share the books, spreading the word, telling people why you like the stories and all of that sort of thing. I got a really nice DM today from somebody who's been around for years. He spent, I want to say it was just a tad under $100. He bought the Soulfinder bag. He bought a bunch of books. He got the crossover book with Tim and Mark from a couple years ago. All sorts of stuff. So thank you for publicly sharing the stuff, and thank you for privately letting me know that you've been supporting the books and all of that. I really, really appreciate it. This goes a long way because how do I say it? The organic spreading of the word of Soulfinder and Iconic Comics is humongous. Mr. X is one. I know that he's super active on X in terms of sharing stuff out. Belcon and Comic-Con going to be very fun this year. Where is it? For those that don't know, where was it? Mr. Blankenship, thanks for kind words about Soulfinder as well. Demons Match, Jean-Luc, Enlightened Fan. Bill Williams is working on stuff with Matt Weldon as well. They've got more Punchline things in the work, so that's going on. where was it? I was trying to look for the Eric July announcement. For those that didn't know, we'll go to Seraphim. So, and then we'll go back to the announcements. Blah blah blah. All right. So, long story short, I think I may have said this before. I'm not 100% sure, but this was a joke between me and Tim at some point in time about Seraphim merchandise, because they've got like 10,000 eyes or whatever, and it would be horrifying. And I thought it would be funny if we took something that was essentially like terrifying and made it cute. So hey guys, hope all is well. So the Seraphim have arrived. These were designed by Timothy Lim. All right, so I guess I could pause that. So these are the forerunners to Soulfinder Volume 6. The Seraphim will play an important role in the story. And I guess since you're listening here, this is, I mean, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but not really that much. So whenever I start off a story, I try to have either a crazy important part of the story on the very first page, or or an arresting image that you're just like, kind of like sums up the entire book, or like the tone or the feel that you're going for. It's going to set the tone for the rest of the book. And so the very first page, when you open Soulfinder Volume 6, the Seraphim, not this little cute guy right here, but an actual Matt's version of the Seraphim will be like, bam, right in your face. Along with Father Redder, who will return in his own full-length story, and Father Crane together again to finally bring closure to everything that you've read over the course of the previous 5 books and the 2 short stories, maybe a 3rd short story or a 4th. I don't know how many more short stories I'll get before then, but the Seraphim will be front and center on the very first page of Soulfinder Volume 6. And then they will also be, throughout the book at appropriate pages as well. So I am looking forward to seeing what Matt does with this particular character. And like I said, he's the harbinger, the forerunner, the messenger that comes ahead of Soulfinder Volume 6 and is letting you know things are about to get real. Things are going to get serious. And can't wait to do that. So, boop. So there's that. And then ultimately, at some point in time, then after Volume 6, it starts a new chapter in the life of, Father Redder. And I'd like to do a standalone Shula story for sure at some point in time. So I have these other ideas, but then it's just like figuring out, what everybody is capable of, what they want to do. I got to see what Matt wants to do, whether it's with Punchline or any other IPs of his own that he wants to develop, and doing that. And so we'll go from there. But anyway, again, that will be on the Iconic Comics website in the near future and at Bell County Comic Con. But if you're going to be at Bell County Comic Con, I think I may have said this before, please don't buy them online. I mean, you could, but I'll have some sort of deal in person if you get them at Bell County Comic Con. So, yeah. All right. Brother P, thanks a lot for spreading the word. Oh, this was last time, blah, blah, blah. Where's the Eric July stuff? Am I back? Oh, I think I'm back. I don't know for sure. I did get kicked off, so I don't know what's. Let me see here. All right. Am I back? I am back. Now I gotta go to the share screen and present that. So share screen. All right, window. All right, boom, I'm back. All right, so sorry about that. My internet connection out here in Reno is a little finicky here and there, so that was annoying. I apologize. If it cuts off again, we've covered plenty of stuff here, but yeah, so I apologize for that. My internet connection is super finicky out here. Similarly, same deal in Montana, especially with the mountains and stuff. So, all right, so we're back. So Eric July will be at Bell County Comic Con. I know there are mixed feelings about him, but in all of my interactions, he's always been a pleasant guy, and I'm looking forward to it. So he will be there, and every time he goes to a show, he's bringing in a ton of people. Whether it's his music fans or is the comic book fans or just the YouTube fans and all of that. So yeah, so boom, Eric will be there. Iconic Comics will be there. It's gonna be a good time. And all right, so boom, there's that. And the only other thing, all right, I guess it's we could talk about this. So this was kind of annoying yesterday, but this is a good example of the junk that I get to deal with. So I figured I'd also address it here. So all right, I want to look down. I wrote a couple little like bullet points so I could. Sometimes people ask me, they're like, Doug, why do you kind of keep to yourself for the most part? Don't you want to be part of the community, Doug? Why do you seem like you just kind of do your own thing and you don't want to mix it up with the community? Okay. So the reason why, I mean, people that have followed me for a long time, you lived through the comic book cut stuff. You lived through all the various character assassination campaigns since 2018 with Tim, against Mark, against myself, all of that sort of. But again, here's another one, another situation where this lady, I never talk about this lady or her husband, any of them, their corner of the internet, their corner of indie comics, any of that stuff. Never messed with these people. Don't even like talk about them. I don't tell them what to do with their books. I don't tell them what to do with their stories. Nothing. I just kept to myself. And this lady, like months ago or whatever it was, last year, whatever, starts demanding that I sound off on some Ben Dunn campaign that he had with his Tomorrow Girl or whatever it is. And I'm like, who? Like, I don't even talk to you. You're not friends with me. I have never worked with you. We don't follow each other on X. I don't look you up on online. I guess she was writing some blog post about me. I don't look these people up on YouTube. I don't look them up on Instagram. Nothing. But yet they show up out of the blue and start demanding that I answer for a Ben Dunn campaign that I had nothing to do with and never promoted. And I don't even really know Ben on any sort of personal level in any real way. The only way that I know Ben is that he has a booth. He gets a booth at Bell County Comic Con. And in passing, like maybe years ago, I was introduced to him and I was like, hey, man, or something like that. And then I was telling someone yesterday, I was like, I've watched Ben eat eggs for breakfast at a Holiday Inn a couple of times, but I don't know the guy. I've never like really had any, again, real conversation with him like where it would warrant me having to talk about his campaigns. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. So it's like, I didn't promote his book. I didn't back his campaign. I don't know the guy. I don't talk to the guy. Suddenly, this lady, I don't even know, shows up out of the blue, starts demanding answers from me. And it's like, there's this entitled feel to it or quality to it. Like, you owe me. I don't owe you an answer. I'm not obligated to engage with you about anyone. And the thing is like, if I never talked about you or your husband or Ben or go down the list of people that I just on this stream that I never talk about, I don't weigh in, I don't tell them what to do. So why would I suddenly randomly, because you demanded it, start having to answer questions about a campaign that I have nothing to do with? It's like the weirdest thing. And so it's people like this that this is the reason why I don't like DMs with people. There's another creator who consistently, even though I have told him multiple times, I was like, after all the hut stuff, I don't like DMs. The vast majority of people, I don't want to hear from anyone in DMs. And if you have a question for me, just ask me in my public feed, because my DMs were weaponized against me, twisted out of context, turned into like something they weren't. And all these lies were created out of them, and then it was like a giant balloon that was twisted into like something it wasn't, and then presented to people. And for years, it's followed me around with these like ridiculous individuals that still believe a litany of lies about me. And so, yeah, so people ask me, why don't you want to answer DMs from me? Student of God, thanks for tuning in. It's like, again, unless I've known you for many years, or unless you've proven to me that I can have a real conversation with you, an honest conversation with you, then I don't want to deal with it. And I don't want to get involved in all of these creators constantly drama, melodrama, fights all over the place. And so my thing is I care about Soulfinder readers. I care about Matt Weldon. I care about other creators at Iconic Comics. I care about Iconic Comics as a whole. I don't care about these other creators who are just flitting around YouTube and X trying to start fires and fights with people all over the place, and acting like, because acting as if I am part of some community or something like that. I'm not part of your community. I'm just putting out Soulfinder and doing comics. Like, you have your own little cliques or whatever it is, but I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you my time. I don't owe you my opinion. I owe you nothing. Please stay away from me. Like, I've tried to stay away from you. And again, so sorry to like vent all this out, but I was telling somebody else the other day, it's like, multiple creators, I don't even talk about any of these people. It's the weirdest thing that they just decide like, oh, we're going to try and like mix it up with this guy. We're going to try and start a fight with him. We're going to like whatever. It's like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be in your community. I don't want to be in your clique. I don't care. There was some guy in this who was like, you got to know the lore, Doug. I don't need to know the lore. I don't want to know. I don't want to know about you or Mindy or any lore whatsoever. If I know it, that's great, but I don't need to know it. I'm focused on my books. I'm focused on Bell County Comic Con. That's what I'm trying to focus on. And all of these people, what they always do is this weird thing where they keep calling me a fake Christian. I don't even know what that, like, what exactly does that mean? Like, again, I'm not on a moral pedestal telling these people what to do with their books or even their lives. I'm not even talking. It would be one thing if I was going around saying like, your book needs to be this way and your book needs to be that way, and I don't approve of your characters and you need to run your business this way. I'm not doing any of that. So like, you can't even pull the like, moralizing haughty, better than you sort of like Christian sort of thing, because I don't do that. In my feed, all I do is randomly share things about a virtuous culture creates an order of beauty, both internal and external. Yay! That's not really controversial. I mean, it probably is to some people, but there are these like broad brushstroke sort of things. They're often inspirational. They're trying to get people to like realize their full potential or whatever. So I don't even know. They keep doing this over and over. I think the last person to do it was Vaughn, that dude who like hates my guts and hates Iconic's guts or whatever. I think he called me a fake Christian as well. So it just keeps coming up again and again and again. I was like, I don't know what you mean by fake Christian. Like, yeah, I'm Christian. Yes, I'm a Catholic man who admits that I'm a sinful man and I need a savior. I've again and again and again and again, I say that I'm a very fallible person. And as you can see, I'm human. I get annoyed at these people because it's like I've gone out of my way to ignore them, but they keep injecting themselves into my life and like saying just these bizarro things. And I just don't get it. So like I said, thank you. Thank you to everybody, all the Soulfinder readers out there and the Iconic Comics readers out there that allow me to get out for the most part from the crowdfunding space, so I don't need to interact with these people at all. Maybe I might see them at a convention here or there, but in my experience, they never say anything to you. And if they did say something to me, then I definitely don't have any problem being like, listen, you're not my friend, and you tried to cause problems with me. I don't have anything against you per se. Like I don't go around like just stewing about you or anything, but I'm under no obligation to actually have like a extended conversation with you about anything important. I really don't want to talk to you. So like, again, thank you to everybody that has just allowed me and Matt and the creative team to just do our thing and go to Bell County Comic Con and have a fun time and all of that sort of stuff, because I don't know. These people have issues. They just, I don't know if they're immature. I don't know what the issue with them is, but it's just like, I don't want anything to do with you. Let's see, RPX, those wannabe gangstas again. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is, like I said, a lot of people in indie comics feel as though if you make an indie comic or you're part of a creative team, then you immediately like have to pay them mind. Or if they ask you a question, you got to answer that question. Why? Because you're somehow in the same space. And that's actually one thing that I think they have not liked about me. I can't speak for Tim and the other guys over there, but definitely me, is that they get annoyed when you're like, I'm doing my books for my readers and I care about my creative team, but you just go on your way. I'm not really interested in getting to know you because I've seen how you act online and I know where it would go. It would it would end in a wreckage. And so if I can see your social media footprint and I see that you consistently keep fighting with people over the course of years, a pattern has emerged where every time you get involved with people within like a period of weeks or months or sometimes days, it devolves into fighting. I don't want to get to know you because I've seen all that I need to see. And it's a distraction in my life that I don't need. Every second is valuable. You know, if you ever have an asthma attack or something, you get really sick, you will understand the value of time. And so I don't have time for people that are going to drag me into stupid tribalist fights that I want no part of. So again, thank you, Soulfinder readers. Thank you, viewers of these live streams, for all of your support, because you have allowed me time and time again to escape the stupidity vortex that is created by petty envious, immature, arrested development type of individuals within indie comics, because I don't have patience for it anymore. I had patience for a long time, but my patience ran out years ago with Comic Book Hut and his smear campaign, character assassination thing when his book bombed and he couldn't get it funded and he needed someone to blame and he didn't want to look in the mirror. And so he went after everybody that tried to tell him how he could set himself up for success. And so that obviously didn't work out too well for him. Yeah. Let's see. Anyway, Ethereal Dragon says Drama Queens. Algae Mill, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Again, Student of God, thanks for tuning in. If there's anybody else missed along the way, thank you for tuning in. I think that's about it. Like I said, I didn't really have too much. Oh, the war. Do I want to even comment on? I don't even. So somebody was asking me about the Iran-Israel sort of stuff the other day. And I was telling a friend of mine, I'm trying to be as tactful as possible here. In a weird way, Trump did this thing where Israel's fear was everything was based upon the premise that we were days away from Armageddon because Iran was going to get a nuke. Okay, so that's where all their war drumming came from and their saber rattling. And then on Iran's side, their tough guy act was all predicated on the idea that they had a nuclear program and could use it at any point in time. And so a lot of the fighting was all surrounded. It was all predicated on the idea of this nuclear program. So in a weird way, Trump just took it all off the table. He did precision strikes on the nuke plants, took them out, didn't target civilians. All the nuke plants are gone. So then he takes Israel's rationale for war off the table because they can't say we're days away from Armageddon anymore. Now Iran can't play the tough guy anymore because their nuke program is nuked for all intents and purposes. It's gone. It's off the table. So both the main cause of all the friction, or one of the main causes, you can't get any worse than nuclear doomsday or whatever. It's gone. And then he's just like, okay, now can you guys just shut up? Basically, he's like telling like two little kids, like, I'm tired of you guys. And then there was a thing today where he was like, both these guys have been fighting for so long, they don't know what the F they're doing. And I cleaned it up a little bit, but I just start bursting out laughing because I was like, I would not want to be a US president and have to deal with this sort of stuff because he obviously wants to concentrate on economic stuff. He likes trade. He likes businesses. He likes going to Saudi Arabia, striking deals on crypto and hotel deals and all sorts of like AI investments in the United States and all of this. That's what he likes to do because he's a business guy. He's a real estate mogul. He wants to do that. He doesn't want to get involved in stupid wars. And so he's looking at these two countries that cannot stop fighting with each other. And he just finally blew up today and was just like, they don't know what the F they're doing. And it's true. So I feel bad because what do you do if you're a US president and you got all these powers that are like trying to suck you into like another protracted war with troops on the ground. And you're just like, I don't want to do it. But at the same, it's like, fine, I'm just going to like take this nuke program off the face of the earth. I'm going to drop. Oh, actually, the bunker buster bombs, without giving out too much away, I just wrote those like a week or two ago, like before he bombed. I wrote those into the script for Soulfinder Volume 6. So I was telling my wife, I was like, I just put those into the script, and they actually like dropped them like in a real world attempt to take out a threat to global stability or whatever, that sort of stuff. So when you read Soulfinder Volume 6 and you start seeing the bunker buster bombs and the references to them and all of that sort of stuff, just know that I wrote it before Trump actually dropped the bombs, because in the script I needed the biggest bombs that I can get without being nuclear. for various reasons. And those were the bombs. And so I wrote them into the script. Anyway, so very interesting times we're living in. And that was the other thing, is when I was writing Soulfinder Volume 5 with all the submarine stuff, that's when all sorts of like undersea pipelines were exploded. The Russian oil pipeline was exploded, detonated as well, which I'm pretty sure that was the Biden administration working in concert with NATO, but for the most part the Biden administration, whatever. But so it's very weird that I'm like writing these things, and I guess it makes sense because I'm incorporating real world military sort of stuff and espionage and just real world technology into a lot of it, that it would happen. But so now 2 scripts in a row, as I'm writing about this stuff, it actually happens in the real world. So RPX, your creative muses are working overtime. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, all right, we've been talking for about an hour. Unless anybody has any final questions, sorry that it cut out briefly there. I apologize for that. Like I said, my internet connectivity out in Reno is constantly an issue, and it's really annoying. But at least it came back. I didn't have to completely restart everything, so that was good. Anyway, again, be on the lookout for Seraphim merch on Iconic Comics. That will probably be in an email or something. I will definitely announce it on X. I'll announce it on the community tab, probably Instagram, all over the place, for Patreon, all of that. And Bell County Comic Con, if you're in the area, you're thinking of being there, it's going to be a good one. Like I said, Iconic Comics will be there. Eric July will be there. Going to be a fun time. Look at the guest list. There's all sorts of cool guests going on, from like voices for various cartoons and Spider-Man and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers type stuff. There's UFC fighters. Butterbean is there, as I said before. All sorts of stuff. So fun time to be had by all. Let's see. Armored Saint. Damn, I just saw that you were on. Oh well, ask Mike. No, what's your question? If you have a question, I didn't knock it. I didn't cut it off just yet. So happy to answer your question if you have one. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes. Dan Wise, I will have to get one at Bell County. Yeah, man, the Seraphim merch will be there. And like I said, anybody who is at Bell County Comic Con, I will cut them some sort of deal for sure. Yeah, so I'm glad I have those. I might come out with, I'll see. There might be some more merch if I can get it in time. I don't know. We'll see. All right, Armored Saint. You got the 10-second countdown to ask your question. And if you ask it, then I'm happy to answer at length. Anybody that's here, I'm always happy to talk to you guys, especially regulars who have been here since, I don't know, what was it, 2017? Whenever I really started ramping up on YouTube. So just let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to skedaddle. Again, thanks to everybody for spreading the word. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, Doug, the Omnibus. Okay, so yeah, with Soulfinder Volume 6, like I said before, that will complete the first major story arc, and many of the minor arcs that are, William Nebel is kind of like within there, like a minor arc. So after Soulfinder Volume 6, the plan is to essentially do a giant omnibus that has the first 6 volumes in it, maybe even the short stories. I don't know, but it'll be very large. We'll put it that way. And there's going to be no way that I can do the inks in the omnibus. So it'll just be all the stories. So let's think about that. The first 2 are like 56 pages. And then the second, then the third and fourth and fifth are going to be like 72 pages each. It's going to be massive. I don't know if I'll have to like break it up. Somebody was asking me if I would do a leather bound one. And I was like, you guys got to stop with the ideas, because some of the ideas that you come up with, I've already been thinking about them. So one of the things that I want to explore with the omnibus is to do a leather bound edition. Kind of like, obviously like Bibles. And so we'll see. It'll either be just one massive volume, or maybe it'll be like, 2 huge, 1 through 3 and a short story, and then 4 through 6 in a short story or something like that. I don't know. And then obviously bonus art, who knows. But I want to do something special for the omnibus. So that's what I was gonna say. So in this particular thing, I guess I'll read it out loud. So this tale is about the silent service, which is fitting because I've had people ask me why I've been a bit off the radar and under the waves of indie comics for much of 2025. Sometimes if you want to build the infrastructure for cool things, you need to go off the grid. You need to go to a place of silence to do the hard work that is necessary to succeed. If the Soulfinder sub goes silent at times, I promise you it's because I'm focused on safely arriving at storytelling ports for years to come. Thanks for coming along for so many journeys over the years and supporting Iconic Comics. So one of the reasons why, and I hinted on this, or kind of talked about a little bit last time, that I've been off the grid for much of the year is because I've been doing a lot of homework, and I've been trying to set the stage so I can do whatever the freak I want with Soulfinder. If I want to do leather-bound books, I can do leather-bound books. If I want to do animation, I can do animation. If I want to do just a short trailer, I can do the trailer. If I wanted to do my own Soulfinder animated movie, I want to have the financial resources and the capital to do my own animated movie. How do I do that? And so I think I said last time I had been praying the miraculous metal about all of this sort of stuff for a long time, and I got an answer, a miraculous answer. And but the answer involved me basically going off the grid, kind of like a submarine. I got to go off the radar for a long time, and I got to work on some stuff, and I got to do a lot of homework, and it is very stressful on many ways. Like, I'm not really like, it's weird because it's like stressful, but I'm like not stressed, if that makes sense. Like subconsciously there is a certain level of stress, but I am trying to thread through eye of the needle or whatever on some sort of stuff. And it's a 5-year plan. And if I could pull it off, I could do whatever I want with Soulfinder. But I don't know if it's going to happen. And if I fail, I'll fail privately, and only my wife will know about it, and my brother. I told one of my brothers about it. But basically, I'm trying to do some high risk, high reward sort of stuff. And like I said, it requires a lot of homework, a lot of patience, and a steel gut and a steel spine. So we'll just put it that way. Solid Halon, I'll keep praying for you, Doug. Thanks, man. I need all the prayers I can get. So, yeah. But like I said, if this pans out, there is no way that it is not miraculous. And I will be able to tell my miraculous metal tale when all is said and done, if everything works out the way that I think it. I was telling my wife today, she came home and I was showing her some news, and I'm like, the Tetris pieces are falling into place. Do you understand? And she cares, but she doesn't care, if that makes sense. Like, she just supports me. So she doesn't really think about it. She's like, she'll hear my plans and be like, all right, well, I hope it works out for you. That's great. She doesn't really stress out about any of that stuff. And I'm just like, do you understand the ramifications for this? If all of this falls into place the way I think it's going to be huge. So we'll see. But maybe if I fall on my face, I can tell Solid Halon. I can tell you about it. We'll see. But I really, honestly, truly believe that my prayers were answered in a miraculous way, because a stranger came up to me and he pointed me in the direction that I needed to go in order to be able to financially free myself from the system. But again, it's a long road, and it requires a ton of patience and a lot of conviction. And if you don't do your homework, you're not going to have the conviction. And if you don't have the conviction, you're going to fall on your face, and you're going to lose a lot of money, and everything's going to be bad. But we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Armored said, okay, do you have plans to come to Dallas Fort Worth Con anytime soon? I know that there was a show in Dallas Fort Worth not too long ago. That's the one where there was the Dallas meetup with Eric July, and actually Wes from Thinking Critical was there, and the Friday Night Tights guys, and I think Gary, they go to all that. So I'm not opposed to that. And actually, there was somebody that asked me prior to the Dallas meetup with Eric July if I would basically be able to go to that, and the Dallas Fan Expo. Yeah, thank you, AL. And I basically just said, like, well, I mean, I would, but you're asking me on extremely short notice. And like, I would for you if I had more time. And also, like I said, I'm doing all sorts of financial tightrope walking. I got the books coming out. I got hardcovers coming out. I got all this stuff that I'm trying to do to set myself up for success in the long run. So on short notice, I don't know if I really can do it, but if I had more time, maybe. So we'll see. Diller Draw sounds exciting. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations on your campaign. I know that you've been going through Rippaverse with Yellow Flash, so congratulations on that. Hope it's not a scam. No, not a scam. Not a scam whatsoever. Good luck, brother. It takes guts to take that leap. So no, I know for a fact it is not a scam. And it's just a matter of whether I do what I need to do to pull it all off, really. And like I said, I honestly, truly, people think I'm crazy. That's why I don't talk to too many people about this sort of stuff. But let me put it this way. I said, I was saying my miraculous metal for months about this. I was like, I gotta, after this movie stuff that I talked about before, and the writers and producers, they wanted Soulfinder, the rights to it, but they wanted to give me peanuts. And some of the producers back, a couple years ago, they wanted to strip the Catholicism out of it. They still were interested, and that was obviously never going to happen. And after all this stupid movie Hollywood stuff, I was like, I gotta get out of the system. I gotta be able to unshackle myself from all of these people, financially, creatively, like all this sort of stuff. Like, I have these knots, these ropes are tying me down. I gotta get free of these. How do I do this? So I was praying my miraculous metal. If you don't know anything about the miraculous metal, look into it. And I got an answer. So I went down to Anime Sunika, and a total stranger in a mask comes up to me. So I'm telling part of the story right now. And he says, he looks at the Cairo, the Greek symbol for Christ. Hopefully I'm not mispronouncing it, but the Cairo, we got the Soulfinder merch, and my brain, just for whatever reason, always wants to mispronounce it. But the Cairo, and he says, what is that? I keep seeing that everywhere. And I said, oh. And then so I started going into the history, and I told him all of it, and he was like, okay, well, let me have the first 3 books, the first 3 Soulfinder books. But the Cairo is in volume 4. And then I have what was I going to say? Then I have the patch. So he was asking me all about the Cairo, and then he wanted all the Soulfinder stuff that didn't have the Cairo in it. So then I was like, listen, dude, I want you to have volume 4. Like, he bought the first 3 books. I was like, I want you to have volume 4 because it's got the Cairo in it. And I also want you to have the patch because you asked about it. And so take the patch. And so then he says to me, he's like, you know what? You just did me a favor. Matt, thanks for tuning in. I want to do you a favor. And then he told me X, Y, and Z. And then I was like, this is it. That is the answer to my prayer. Like, I didn't say it out loud to him, but I was like, I got to look into this. And I looked into it, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way this is not the answer to my prayers. If it's going to happen, it's going to be through this. All of my prayers are embedded in the information that this guy who was asking me about the Cairo told me. And I was talking to a friend about this, and he was saying, like, and how weird is it that Timothy Lim was the one that designed the Cairo? And if Tim had never designed the Cairo, the stylized one for Soulfinder, it would have that guy would have never asked about it, and you would have never told him, and then he would have never told you that information. So it's like coincidence upon coincidence upon coincidence upon coincidence that are all related to my Catholic friends and my prayers and the miraculous medal. And I'm like, it has to be this. It has to be. So I started doing my homework and I was like, I think this is it. So anyway, if my prayers are answered, there will be signs. We'll just put it that way. I will tell the story, but there will also be signs. And so far, all of the Tetris pieces are falling into place. Obviously, it's a 5-year plan, but the most important pieces have already been falling into place. It's so close. So we'll see how it goes. But Solid Halon, again, thank you for saying you pray for me. Dillard, I'm still praying to my my Benedict medal. Actually, Dillard, now that you mention it, I got my Benedict medal on right here. And I got my, so there you can see. I got my miraculous medal on. I got my St. Benedict medal. My wife calls this my flare. And I've got my brown scapular. So I got all three going on simultaneously. And you're like, Doug, why do you got all your Catholic flair on? I told you, I need all the prayers I can get. I got problems. So next time these people call me a fake Christian, be like, no, he is a Christian who knows that he's got deep spiritual problems and he needs all the help he can get. So, yeah. Bell County Comic Con is the first weekend in August. So what is that? August 1st and 2nd or 2nd and 3rd? I should know off the top of my head. I want to say 2nd and 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there you go. August 2nd and 3rd. Tickets on sale now at Bell County Comic Con. So, all right, Bruce, thanks for tuning in. Ethereal Dragon, if Disney sells Marvel Comics, we need to buy it so Doug could get Justice in Moon Knight. LOL. Yeah, you never know. So, Matt, I got to jump back to the beginning of the story. Says, haha, Matt, thanks for tuning in. Always glad to hear from you, Matt. Matt, I hope you are doing well. Neostar, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, I'll see everyone at next year's Bell County Comic Con. Yeah, man. The good thing about Bell County Comic Con is time is flying, and it seems like we're packing up. And before I know it, I'm buying tickets once again, hotel and all that sort of stuff. So if we can't see you this year, hopefully we'll see you next year. But like I said, Eric July is going to be there. Iconic Comics is going to be there. Going to be a fun time. And yeah. All right. So thanks again to everybody tuned in. Really appreciate it. Thanks again for spreading the word about Soulfinder and Iconic Comics. Thanks for everything. All right. I'll see you guys later. See ya.